As long as we have energy, humanity can survive in the universe. Unfortunately, the universe will die. It will happen slowly, over billions of years, but it will happen. On a universal timescale, stars like our Sunday will never disappear. Fortunately, from a human perspective, there are places that exist almost forever. The corpses of dead stars, white dwarfs before the universe dies, they may be humanity's last home. What strange things will happen when they finally die? The life cycles of stars vary greatly depending on their size. For instance, truly massive stars burn quickly, dying violently in supernovae just millions of years after birth. But they are the exception. 97% of stars will end their existence as white dwarfs. Two paths are possible here. Small stars, known as red dwarfs, burn for trillions of years until they quietly fade into white dwarfs. Medium-sized stars like our Sunday are more interesting. Imagine the Sunday as a giant pressure cooker, fusing hydrogen into helium at its core through its own gravity. Element fusion releases immense energy, pushing outward and stabilizing the star, maintaining a delicate equilibrium. As the Sunday ages, hydrogen in its core is depleted. It will begin burning helium into heavier elements while shedding its outer layers. When this process progresses past halfway, over half the Sunday's mass will be lost into space as a spectacular planetary nebula stretching millions of kilometers. What remains is the former core. A white dwarf is born, signifying a star's death. Yet its predecessor was roughly 100 times its diameter. It remains Earth-sized but only half as massive. This means it is incredibly dense. A teaspoon of white dwarf material weighs roughly the same as a car. Its surface gravity exceeds Earth's by over 100,000 times. If you attempted to land, you'd instantly be compressed into a boiling puddle. Living around a white dwarf isn't necessarily safe, but it is possible. Most are now remnants of stars that died, potentially obliterating any planets they once hosted. But that is not the whole story, because they're so small. A planet would need to orbit about 75 times farther from its star than Earth orbits the Sunday to maintain liquid water. This proximity has its downsides. First, the planet would become tidally locked, experiencing a permanent day and eternal night. Life is possible at the edges of these day-night zones. But white dwarfs have an extremely stable energy output, so they might actually be safer places to live than many nearby red dwarfs. At this point, it is still speculative. However, if we could discover white dwarfs using the right methods, we might find a home habitable for billions of years. But why are they brighter and more enduring than other stars? Among the hottest objects in the universe, white dwarfs are extremely hot, up to 40 times hotter than the Sunday. Yet they are incredibly inactive. All the heat within them is trapped, with nowhere to go. Only the heat in their outer layers can escape into space. But space is mostly empty, so this heat cannot conduct movement. The only way energy can escape is through radiation. This is an inefficient path, and white dwarfs would take trillions of years to cool themselves, potentially making them humanity's last refuge. In a dying world, they might be the final source of light and energy. Estimates suggest white dwarfs could continue shining for 100 trillion years, 1,000,000 times longer than the universe's age. Thus, in the distant future, no conventional stars will shine longer. Galaxies will fade away, and only the first white dwarfs will become the first black dwarfs. When this occurs, the last hope for life dies. Black dwarfs will be dead realms, devoid of residual energy, yet still possessing enough immense energy to kill you if you get too close. They are so cold, perhaps the coldest in the universe, and so dark that they are nearly invisible. The cosmos will enter its final phase, heat death, leaving behind a ravaged universe, an absolute dark and cold graveyard, yet dwarfed by black holes and black dwarfs scattered across billions of light years. We are uncertain what will occur in the black dwarf's twilight years. If protons, a fundamental component of atoms, have finite lifespans, black dwarfs would slowly evaporate over trillions of years. If protons do not decay, black dwarfs would likely transform into pure iron balls through quantum tunneling effects over such immense timescales that visiting them permanently would be justified. Then, these iron balls would travel utterly alone through a dark universe. Nothing new will ever happen again, ever. While this sounds rather bleak, it is far removed from our purpose today, and it might not even occur at all. What happens after a trillion years is utterly irrelevant. Right now, we live in a wonderful time, able to marvel at a universe brimming with endless starlight and planets, and with enough time to visit them one day. Our music is available on Spotify and iTunes. It is composed by our good friends at Epic Mountain, two individuals who run a studio dedicated to making music for a living. If you enjoy our videos, you can find them here and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Please consider supporting us on Patreon. It makes a huge difference to us. And if you need an excuse to procrastinate on work, here is a playlist with more videos about space and time.